which of you with patient ears attend, och det som är så tårkast och inte med. Samson and Gregory. Oh, hello. Yes, please come in. It's wonderful to see you again. What? No, you're not late at all. I'm sorry, I've just been here for a little while, but it's not because you're late, it's because I was, well, a bit awkwardly early. You see, the last time that you and I had our little donation session, I was a few minutes late because I got lost in the hallways and things back here in the Blood Cafe. So I decided to make sure that I was on time, and I left myself loads of time in case I got lost again. But all that happened was that I ended up here very, very uncomfortably early. It's not your fault at all, it's completely my fault. I have the tendency to get nervous about being late and spend quite a lot of time waiting by myself. But seeing as I am practically immortal, at least I always have time to spare. And over the centuries I have learned to always keep a bit of reading with me. There's something about the coming of autumn, when the air starts to feel a bit chilly, that makes me turn back to some of the classics. The tragedies of Shakespeare. They're, well, I suppose some people these days would call them a bit archaic, but they have such a beautiful timelessness to them, to me at least. Something that hasn't aged as well as me, unfortunately, according to some, but I tend to think that they have. Yes, I'm working through Romeo and Juliet. A bit cliche, I suppose. When you've been around as long as I have, you tend to read things more than once. You know, the story of Romeo and Juliet, it's obviously it's a tragedy. These two quarrelling families, different factions that have both suffered loss, and then these two young people fall in love. To some people it seems silly, it seems frivolous that they would jump so headfirst into a new love and end up, dying for it. In some ways I suppose it is the folly of youth, but I think it's also the passion of youth. The passion of what the heart wants. Sometimes it's not fully explainable. There's a sort of innocence and purity to it. So it's one of my annual reads in autumn. Anyway, I am so sorry, I don't mean to be rambling. Here I was wanting to make a better impression than the first time we met, and I just spent it rambling about ancient literature. I'm so sorry. It's wonderful to see you again. I was very pleased that you decided to have another donation session with me. How are you? Really? Are you sure? Well, I'm picking up on the fact that perhaps you are very tired these days. Do you remember the last time that we saw each other? I told you a bit about some skills that vampires tend to pick up over the years. I'm able to have a sense for people's emotions. So it's very difficult to lie to me about how you're doing. Just tired is all. Is that so? I know there's a lot going on in the world right now. It's okay to be stressed. It's okay to feel weighed down, and it's understandable to feel a bit burdened. There's so much on the shoulders of a mortal. I'm sorry. You know, if you're feeling too tired, it's really all right if we skip the the blood tonight. I mean, I know this is the Blood Cafe, that's what we're here for, but I would never want to take advantage of you just because we had a scheduled meeting. I told you the last time, I will never take for granted the gift of life energy that you give me. And if you don't have any to spare, it's all right. I'll make sure that you're still paid, don't worry. But I wouldn't want to push you too hard. Are you sure? Well, of course, that is why I'm here. It's why both of us are here. You, the willing mortal, and me, the hungry vampiric monster. No, I know that you don't see us that way. I very much appreciate that. I know that's what this whole facility is about, but I just want to make sure that you're really okay with it. You still have a choice. You always have a choice, no matter what. There might be some within these walls that might try to take advantage of you, but I never will. I don't want to make your stress any worse. How are you doing physically? Have you been sick? Have you been feeling very weak or out of sorts at all? Okay. Well, yes, I know you have to go through sort of a medical checkup before you come in here, but I just want to make sure. Okay? No. It's not me thinking that you can't handle it. I just want to make sure it's what's best for you. This thing that you do, being willing to give your blood to a vampire, that's a very selfless and noble thing. Now, I know that you are handsomely compensated for your blood, but it's also a very wonderful thing for not just me, but the world in general. Places like this keep vampires off the streets, preying on unsuspecting humans. It cuts down on accidental fatalities, accidental turnings. It keeps vampires well fed and content, not ravenous, hunting in the middle of the night, all that sort of awful thing that used to happen for centuries. Places like this and people like you offer a great service. So I never want you to feel obligated or pressured into it, though. Okay, if you're sure. No, I'm not sensing quite as much nervousness as last time. It was your first time, which is perfectly understandable to be willing, but still a bit apprehensive. I'm glad. As I said, I am not someone who will ever take advantage of you, will ever take too much blood to make you sick or make you weak or anything like that. I'm going to make sure that you always feel in control and that you always feel cared for afterwards, alright? Okay. I was very pleased when you asked to see me again. I have to admit, you have a very unique taste to you. I've had, I suppose, one or two other donors since you and I had our little rendezvous. They didn't taste nearly as rich as your blood. Yes, it's quite diverting, really. I'm not ashamed to admit that I've thought about the taste of your blood a few times since we saw each other last. I hope that doesn't come across as too forward. I bet that's something you never thought you'd hear a girl say. Your blood is intoxicating. Well, I wouldn't say intoxicating per se. I wouldn't want you to think that I'm not perfectly in control still, but it is a very unique, beautiful flavour. It's almost like a very well-aged wine. A bit of sweetness to it, but mostly just a very, very deep, rich flavour. And you do also smell quite delicious as well. But as I said, I will never do anything that you're not comfortable with, alright? Okay. Now, which side would you like the bite on this time? Or if you would like, if you're not feeling up for the biting, I could just, make a little prick or a very small incision and get the blood that way as well. I don't have to actually bite you if that feels too painful. You didn't mind it last time? Oh, okay. Good. It is often the quickest way for a vampire to feed. It can be a bit dangerous when you have a young vampire who tends to get a bit more ravenous, but I've been around for quite a while, so I promise I won't lose control or anything like that. But which side would you like me on? Both again? You did that last time too. Are you sure though? I don't want... You do just seem a bit more tired, a bit more... Well, like you've got some sort of heaviness to you. I don't want to make anything worse by taking too much. I mean, of course, you're welcome to rest here and get some food and drink and all that sort of thing, but I still wouldn't want to harm you. Let's just start with one side and we'll go from there, okay? Which side would you like me to start on? This one? Right. Yes, I think that could work quite nicely. But there, I think that would be good. Yeah. Now, the last time that we were together, I think that I used my very subtle vampire hypnosis to help sort of ease your mind before. I don't really like the word hypnosis. I don't want you to ever feel like I'm forcing you to do things. More vampire suggestion. Just something to help ease the mind a bit. Would you like me to do that again for you? It might also help to ease some of the stress in your mind from other things. Not just from the fact that you're about to be bitten by a vampire. Alright. No, of course I don't mind at all. It's quite simple, really. All you need to do is just follow the movement of my hands, alright? Just loosely focus on them. You don't have to strain or anything like that. Just notice the movement of my fingers across your vision. Notice the sound of my voice a bit as you start to relax. As you start to feel the muscles in your body taking a deep breath out and relaxing. The muscles in your face start to release the tension. Your shoulders, your neck, your back, all of them feel a bit lighter, a bit more relaxed. Good. You are perfectly safe. Nothing is going to happen to you that you don't want to happen. You have complete control to stop at any time. You are well protected. You are worthy of safety. You deserve to be listened to and respected. And you are here. You will always be listened to and respected in my presence. Always. You are a wonderful and kind person. And though the world sometimes feels like it's a lot, you are deserving of peace. You are deserving of rest, not because of what you've accomplished, not because of your success or your title or your productivity. You are deserving of rest simply because you are you. You are a person who needs rest. It is not selfish to rest. It is not lazy to take breaks. It is part of nature. And it is a good and responsible thing to do, to take care of yourself. And here you are able to rest. You are able to find peace. You are safe. You are cared for. You are valuable. You are safe. You are cared for. And you are valuable. And you are very much appreciated for the gift of life energy that you give in this place. Now I'm going to count down from 10 to 1, and then I'm going to bite you. But if at any point you feel uncomfortable, I will stop. But in this relaxed state, you will not feel pain or fear. You are protected, and you are safe. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Mm. 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 Yes, that's the taste I remember. There's something about your blood. It's very, very delicious. How are you feeling? Are you all right, my dear? I didn't take too much, did I? Well, you're certainly looking nice and calm, but I don't want to take too much. I still just want to make sure that you're feeling okay. I never, ever, ever want to harm you. Well, I suppose biting you does harm you a little bit, but I would never want to cause any sort of sickness or dizziness or anything like that. How are you doing? Okay. Well, we can certainly be done now, alright? Why don't you close those eyes and You still want me to take from this side too? Are you quite sure, my dear? I don't want to cause any sort of pain or extra stress to your body. You do seem to take it like a champ, don't you? You're a bit more resilient as far as having your blood taken goes to most humans too. You know, you almost sort of remind me of someone I used to know. You don't have any sort of heritage of the paranormal in your family, do you? Are you sure? No, I don't think that you're lying to me, darling. It's alright. I would be able to tell if you were. Perhaps, maybe there's something down your family line you're just maybe not aware of. Happens all the time, really. Different creatures who look like humans falling in love with a human. Almost sort of like Romeo Juliet, I suppose. Two families, both alike in dignity, just with very, very different characteristics. Well, you remind me of my previous donor. They were more than that, but it started out, they were actually the one who helped come up with the idea of this place, of the Blood Cafe. And they were a werewolf. You see, nowadays there are rules about vampire and werewolf relations. Specifically, vampires are not allowed to feed on werewolves. Werewolf blood is richer and more powerful and can have quite the effect on vampires that it could be potentially dangerous. No, see, when you applied to be a donor here at the Blood Cafe, your family heritage was researched a little bit to make sure that you are not a werewolf or from a vampire yourself, because that could be quite detrimental. But if it's far enough back in your family line, it could have gone unnoticed. Maybe it's just me being silly. Perhaps you just are a human with very, very delicious blood. I'm probably just reminiscing a bit just a memory that has taken form. That's probably all. The fact that you seem to bounce back so quickly is a bit strange as well. Do you think that you can have another bite? Well, I can't deny that blood is quite tantalizing. Alright, I'll just take a little bit from this side. Just a little bit. I don't want to overdo it. But if you're going to keep insisting. Alright. Shall I count down again? Maybe just from 5 this time. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright. No, my dear, that is enough for today. I don't want to overdo it. You did seem to take that quite well though too, didn't you? You are a very unique human, at the very least. I've been a vampire for a very, very long time. You tend to pick up on things. Are you sure you don't have any sort of werewolf blood in you? Well, I wouldn't go talking about this conversation that we've had with anyone else, alright? I don't think that you have enough werewolf blood in you that it would be considered wrong for you to be here, but there are some vampires who might want to sample you for themselves. I said places like this are wonderful at cutting down on hunting and things like that. But unfortunately there are always some who don't follow the rules, or who don't think that the rules apply to them. I wouldn't want any of them getting wind that there might be something unusual about you. Just be a bit careful, alright? Okay. And as I said, I'm never going to take advantage of you, okay? That's why I didn't just keep it to myself, because I want you to know there is something potentially unusual about your blood. It would be a good idea to just be cautious. No, I don't think that you would be in danger just from walking around. You have a very alluring scent, but it's not the scent of a werewolf. I didn't pick up on it per se, just from your scent. Your taste is another matter, especially since I've had some time to think about it. But, just be a bit cautious, alright? I'm sure you will be. I'm sure you really have nothing to fear, as long as you don't go blabbing to just anyone. You are looking rather tired now, though. Well, as you know, this place is yours for as long as you would like to stay here and rest. Would you like me to stay with you again until you fall asleep? Of course. As I said, being practically immortal, I have all the time in the world. But even if I didn't, it would be the least I could do after what you've given me. I always want you to feel cared for and protected. Alright. Well, why don't you close those eyes? Try to get some rest, alright? You know, if you wanted me to, perhaps I could even help get you to sleep. Are you familiar with the tragedies of Shakespeare? It's been a while. That's what most people say, if they've read them at all. But they do have a beautiful lilt to them. There's a reason we call Shakespeare the bard, after all. His poetry, his writing does sound almost melodic. Perhaps listening to this, just gently listening to it. You don't have to focus on the words or anything, but perhaps it would help you fall asleep and drift off into peaceful sleep. And then we'll see about getting you some food, alright? Alright, my dear. Romeo and Juliet. Prologue. Enter chorus. Two households, both alike in dignity, in fair Verona, where we lay our scene, from ancient grudge break to new mutiny, where civil blood makes civil hands unclean. From forth the fatal loins of these two foes, a pair of star-crossed lovers take their life, whose misadventured piteous overthrows do with their death bury their parents' strife. The fearful passage of their death-marked love, and the continuance of their parents' rage, which but their children's end not could remove, is now the 2 hours' traffic of our stage, the which if you with patient ears attend, what here shall miss, our toil shall strive to mend. Act 1, Scene 1. Verona, a public place. Enter Samson and Gregory, armed with swords.